Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Odd thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, hello, and welcome to the Monday KVJ After the Show podcast. Coming off of the weekend. Hopefully you guys had an amazing time. I know our first question email comes from Ashley, and she said, Virginia, I heard you were doing the breakers for brunch. I want to surprise my girlfriend with that one day. And I see it would probably cost about $300 for the two of us. Are there any additional costs or any tips you can share about the experience? Any kind of like little ins and outs? Because my question is, if you get the brunch, you know, they got a very cool pool area. They got several different pools out back. They got the beach. Do you get any access to anything like that along with brunch, or is it just the brunch?
So the pools and everything is reserved for hotel guests and club members.
Okay.
You can't get access to the brunch, to the beach, just by going to the brunch.
Okay.
If you're a fat cat and you got millions of dollars and you want to eat a shrimp cocktail in the pool with cocktail sauce, would they stop you? If you're
You can't eat at the pool anymore because the birds became a big issue. The birds come over and they try to get the food, and it creates this whole thing. You got bird poo everywhere.
But Dave Matthews was there, and if Dave Matthews wanted to eat shrimp in the pool, they would have let Dave Matthews eat shrimp in the pool.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have told Dave. He had a bungalow, so in your own little bungalow, you can order food, you can eat in there. You just can't go like in the lounge chairs around the pool and order food.
Really?
You can order drinks.
Okay.
But no food.
I'm shocked about that too, Kev. You'd think all that money, you'd still be able to, I get the bird issue, but still be able to enjoy your sandwich.
I know they used to. You used to be able to do that, but I guess it's changed as of late. The girl told us no because of the birds.
Huh. Somehow we slid through when we were there a couple weeks ago. We were able to get food.
Did you get Pretty Woman?
Pool.
So you were at the pool and you had food poolside?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Virginia got Pretty Woman.
Maybe you are the same status as Dave Matthews, and if you want to eat a shrimp cocktail in the pool, you can eat a shrimp cocktail in
Get
the
some
pool.
respect around this town.
I've seen this happen before, where my friends get Pretty Woman in a situation. Other people can use it. Happened to our Sweet Denny's in the Boca Mall.
No, that had happened. Oddly enough, that had happened to us. We went to Boomers, and they had asked because my kid wanted to play the putt-putt. And they're like, no, that's closed. And so we went out back and we were sitting by where the putt-putt is, and we saw like 25 separate people walk in and
play putt-putt.
I'm like, for that being closed, it looks really open.
You got Pretty Woman at Boomers?
Yeah.
That's messed up.
It was, and I'm like, there's no way that's closed. And my wife she's like, look, they told me it was definitely closed. And I'm like, well, how are they? She's like, well, maybe they had advanced orders or they had reservations. And I'm watching, I'm like, no, they look like they were getting ready to walk out. And they're like, hey, you want to go play some putt-putt? Let's go play putt-putt. And the guy just handed it to him. I didn't see him looking at any reservations or anything.
Huh.
I wonder.
So it is kind of weird that sometimes you go and you may get one employee that either is like, yeah, I'll do it, or another one's like, nah, I'm not going to mess with it.
That happens all the time. I remember that happening even at the golf course that I worked at. One employee would say something, and then the other person would go, no, you can do that.
And if you watch it like you're us, you get pissed because you're like, why are they getting special treatment and I'm not? And then, you always look and you're like going, okay, is it the color of my skin? Is there something else going on here? Like, why is it that they got it and I don't get it? And is it just you went to the laziest employee, which it might be.
Totally.
Or maybe that employee fucking hates our show. Like, that's the Kevin Ralston.
But you just then wonder, because I'm like, well, what was it? Did we get a lazy employee who didn't want to deal with it? Did they have bad information?
They could have had bad information.
Right. So why is it that this is the situation? But yeah, we've probably all been through that. And depending upon what your experiences are in life, you may be like going, son of a bitch, they're damn stereotyping again.
Oh, yeah.
So it does happen a little bit on the ins and outs. But yeah, so if you went in to get the brunch, any other recommendations? How long before they kick you out? Would you recommend going for the highest priced items? What do you get? Because here's the one thing, you pay so much money I would recommend not filling up on everyday stuff you could get. Don't go for something like, if you're going to go bow tie pasta, be like, I had 5 plates of bow tie pasta. And then
you've blown it.
Right. You're like, dude, you could have gotten that at Olive Garden for, $10. Like, you're spending the money. So, you need to probably go for the high ticket items, I would assume.
I would tell you to go for the high ticket items. First of all, they have lobster.
Yeah.
They have crab legs.
Okay.
They have caviar. They have high-end stuff. So enjoy all of those first.
Right.
They also have really good, super thick bacon. They have prime rib. They have lamb chops. They have a whole entire ham.
Okay.
The guy was carving from. They have a raw boar with oysters and everything.
At least maybe try to find things you don't normally see on your rig, because it is not your average buffet. So go for everything, eat everything that you have never seen on a buffet first, like your lobsters and whatever, and then if you got room.
And save room for dessert, because they do have a fabulous spread of over 30 different desserts to pick from, and that's pretty awesome.
Okay.
And they're little mini size too, so it's like little beautiful handcrafted pastries and desserts and chocolates and mousses and fudges and.
I think I'm getting back on my diet tomorrow. I think I'll have one more day of just fucking around a little bit.
Get it, girl.
All this pastry dessert talk.
I took a video of the whole entire brunch buffet.
Oh, send it to me.
So I will. You want me to put it up on the Facebook so everybody can see it?
I don't give a shit. Do what you got to do. You're an independent woman. I just want to see it myself.
Another quick note from Ashley saying, also, my girlfriend works at Legoland. She writes and directs shows. It was fun to hear about your time there, Virginia.
Yeah, Legoland was cute.
That's a neat gig. You write and direct shows for Legoland. You don't even think about that stuff, but yeah, you have to have little productions for that shit.
We were walking through the park and there was a badass ninja show. These little Lego ninjas were just kicking each other's asses. It was awesome.
I was thinking about getting into Legos.
Okay.
Yeah, the Legos are fun.
Yeah.
Even as adults.
Legoland was fun. I mean, I just love it. It's got a fun little vibe.
They got this Millennium Falcon. It's a Star Wars ship, Virginia, but it's like $150 to buy, but you put it together, it's fucking massive. It looked kind of good in Sasquatch recordings, just saying.
Pussy magnet.
If you want to help me put it together.
Let me see here. Got an email from Love B. Said, Virginia, you got me hooked on my Unorthodox Life.
Yes,
I hate
girl.
reality TV normally, but this show is amazing, so binge-worthy.
It's fascinating, too, because I wasn't really very familiar with the strict Orthodox Jewish lifestyle. So in that respect, it does kind of teach you a little bit about their religion and the customs. And man, women are like second-class citizens in that religion. They're not even allowed to sing.
Oh, wow.
Only
really?
the men are allowed to sing. Women aren't even allowed to sing.
That's crazy.
It's crazy restrictive. But I didn't know like all the fun little interesting tidbits that I learned from watching the show.
And it's about what?
It's about a chick.
Okay.
So she was married when she was super young.
Okay.
Arranged marriage situation. And she was Jewish Orthodox, very strict.
Okay.
And then they had kids, her and her husband. And then they raised the kids in the religion as well. And then one day she was like, what am I doing? And so she wasn't allowed to work. She got a secret job and was starting a little business and sold insurance and then worked that into another business and then started to get a nest egg. And then she left her husband and left the religion and left everything.
Oh, wow.
But the kids are like torn. Some of the kids want to stay in their religion. Some of the kids don't want to be in their religion. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting.
And now
with some
she's
of those.
super wealthy. She manages this modeling agency and talent agency. And she's got all these side hustle businesses. And she is definitely inspirational. If you're a woman that appreciates the hustle,
Right.
she's a good one.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that. That sounds pretty cool. I know I watched over the weekend, checked out the Outer Banks.
Yeah, I haven't got into it yet.
Yeah, I think if you like the first season, you like the second. It's, kind of more of the same, but still good and, entertaining on that.
I binge watched some stuff.
What'd you watch?
Murder. A lot of murder.
Okay.
And you wonder why you can't sleep at night.
Nah, it's got nothing to do with it. I mean, you're right, it probably didn't help, but I had fucking sleep issues way before the murder.
Also, Ted Lasso, they're doing that episode by episode. That's an Apple TV show. That's good. I'm enjoying that. And then also, because I was on Apple TV, I started watching The Morning Show.
Oh, Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon. I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would like. I like
liking
shows about TV and radio. I like this kind of shit.
It pretty much is exactly the Matt Lauer story.
Okay.
I don't even know if they took a lot of creativity and added much else to it. I mean, it really is just you had a network morning TV host, and it looks just like the Today Show. And he is perving with all the ladies that are there, and he's pushing the boundaries, and it's, toxic masculinity and all that kind of stuff.
Juicy.
Yeah, and he loses his gig because of it, and that's pretty much the whole plot line.
Okay, I would watch that.
Lauer, I think he still believes he's coming back. I'm not kidding.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was shopping around an idea of all canceled people coming. I'm sorry. What's the new term? Not canceled. It's consequence people.
You've got consequences.
Yes, you're not canceled, Kevin.
Right.
Now, there's now a fight about people who say the word canceling.
Okay.
Yes, there's a fight within the fight.
I got you.
Yeah.
Chrissy Teigen wanted to do a show with all the people that got canceled.
There was a few dudes floating that around with all the guys that had gotten canceled for the sexual misconduct. We're going to do a show together.
I would watch that. They put Chrissy Teigen in the house with all these dudes, these dirty dudes.
Oh, I mean, I don't think they want a woman involved. I think they want to have like a round table of, this is what happened. I think they want to say their story now. Lauer thinks he was railroaded. He doesn't think he did anything wrong.
Whatever.
Yeah.
These are, again, don't email me. These are not my words. This is what I've heard.
And that's why I think the morning show is really done over the same thing, because this guy's like saying, look, there is a difference. There's different layers. And in fact, he was having a conversation with somebody else. It was played by Martin Short, the character in the show, in the morning show. And he's like, there's a difference. You're a predator. And I am kind of a victim. I was a guy that, I hit on everybody, but, they wanted it. It was they reciprocated all these things. And so that's really kind of the fine line of it's a guy who's taking advantage of the position he's in, and women may want to sleep with him to try to advance. And so it's like he's trying to walk that line, if that's at least his take, is that, so what? I'm a man of power and women want to sleep with me. What's so wrong with that? Why have I lost my job? And it does kind of sort out some interesting issues, because there are some gray areas when it comes to this stuff.
Those are two different things. Women or anybody that sleeps with somebody willingly for power and someone who is sexually assaulted, rape against their will. Those are two different things.
Right. And their perspective on it was, I just kind of felt like I didn't have much of a choice. I felt like maybe I would lose standing. I felt like this. And it felt like a man was pushing sexual pressure on me. Unwanted sexual pressure. And so that's where I think the enlightenment is, and where we're trying to sort out what it is. But I think it's good because it does answer that question. What is the dividing line?
Well, I'm glad you can at least ask that question now without getting screamed at. A year and a half ago, you couldn't ask that question because everything seemed to be lumped in one, and then you would get your head bitten off.
Shut the fuck up, Jay
Exactly. You're a man. Shut the fuck up. What are you doing?
Well, I always say that. I mean, we just got to be able to discuss these things, because there are a lot of things to sort out. If people start screaming at you because you're asking questions because you want to know, and you're like, hey, look, there are a lot of things that we need to fix in our society. I think more than ever in my lifetime, we're fixing a lot of things, but we have to be able to talk through it and understand it and say, okay, look, I'm trying to get it. I understand there may be some things I'm out on. In fact, there was something today that I saw that I was really surprised that Matt Damon volunteered this information, because this is the kind of slippery slope kind of stuff that you're like going, ooh, oh. He said that he's retiring the gay slur that starts with the letter F, all because his daughter put him in check. And he had said that basically in the last couple of months, this is something. This isn't like 10 years ago he realized that using the F gay slur was bad. He said that he's used the word since he was a kid, but it had a different application.
He's not going around calling people that because he's doing that to where he would call his friend that to say, oh,
Yeah.
you're acting like that. Is that what he was saying?
I think so. And, he grew up in Boston, and there may be some places where that was a word that they would throw that out, and it was,
Well,
it
Bill
was
Burr's from
bad,
Boston
yeah.
too, and I've heard him talk about it too. And he's explained, just like
it may
Matt
have been
Damon.
more prevalent there, and so he grew up seeing it and hearing it. And yeah, he may have said it and not thinking about anybody who was gay. It's
Right.
just what they called other guys, whatever. But it probably does come from that. There was a point where it was disparity, and he may not have seen it as that. But for him to at least admit that until months ago, he was using that word as be like, oh my gosh, Matt Damon was using the F gay slur.
He
Like,
can't be canceled. He can only have.
But here is a guy that at least is saying, for whatever reason, it hadn't even still registered to him that this was something that you don't do until his daughter put him in check. But I like at least that we can say, hey, look, I think a lot of us are all probably ignorant in something. And for somebody to say, hey, look, that's not what we do or we say or you should say. And if you're like going, I'm sorry, like I did not understand, I wasn't aware.
I was always told part of the human experience was, when you fuck up and you make mistakes, you recognize them and they go, yeah, I fucked up. I'm not going to do that anymore. I am, to use the term, I am going to get better or be better.
Right.
I thought when you did fix that, you should be commended on that and not torn down.
Yeah, I think that you should. I think that it should be like going, hey, look, we don't do that, and that's not the right. And here's why. Let me explain why you're hurting people with your words.
That's growth. That's human growth when you realize you're being a fuckface.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's why hopefully we're going to start, this whole cancel culture. We'll start adjusting it a bit, saying let's help people through this a little bit more than trying to make them feel like terrible people and canceling their lives.
If you look in anybody's life, I don't care who you are, they're going to have something they're ashamed of or they're going to have made a mistake.
Yeah.
Nobody gets out of this planet without doing something fucked up. Now,
Sure.
there's levels of that. There's a spectrum of doing fucked up things.
Yeah.
I would love to see the reality show of all of the canceled people living in a house like Big Brother. I would love it. Girls and guys. I don't want some round table sausage discussion.
No, exactly.
No, I want the girls that have been canceled and the guys that have been canceled all in the house like Big Brother.
Well, there's a lot of former people that were their storylines, in the media. Remember that she wasn't a celebrity, but she basically got her life kind of canceled. Was that nurse that got in that Uber car down in Miami? Remember her?
I do remember
And
that.
she
Yeah,
was
she
getting
lost
ready-
her
lost her fucking mind.
She was throwing everything out of the car. Is that the one?
It was a real bad. It was
yeah.
a bad night for anybody. I mean, she was 110% wrong. But yeah, to your point, what happened to her? After all the fallout, she got crucified, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But people, they said she should never be a doctor, and she should never practice, and all this shit. That was 3 years ago. What's going on with her now?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too that we're learning is, I think a lot of us can have bad nights. And like I said, there was a guy in the NFL that he went to Stanford. This guy is a highly educated guy. He's always been on the straight and narrow. Remember you're talking about him? He had a couple bottles of booze.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
he
Lost his mind.
terrible night. Just
Terrible
bad.
night.
But it goes to show you that even the most intelligent, grounded, just somebody you would never expect, you can all have a terrible night, especially when on booze.
He was crazy horse drunk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Yeah, he was,
Of
yeah.
course, if you're struggling with anything and then you get blacked out drunk,
Yeah.
bad shit can happen.
But he came out with a great apology. He owned it all. He said, my gosh, I'm so sorry. That is not me. I'm ashamed of who that guy was. That's an apology done well. Now we're seeing what happened with the baby, who said some very uncharacteristically bad things, or maybe it was characteristically right things.
Well,
I don't know.
Step one, you got to sit up during your apology.
Yeah, it just obviously he put no effort into it. So how you respond immediately after you step in it is such a big part to what your punishment is going to be and how long before society's going to be like, okay, you learn your lesson, come back into it. Handling it right away and the first words out of your mouth right after you do it are so important now. And I think PR people are getting that. Be like, shut up. Don't post a video. Don't tweet. Don't do anything.
Just wait.
Sit up when you're apologizing.
Yes. Do
Care.
it and do it right.
Be sincere and not so nonchalant.
If you want to ever have a career again, or if you don't want to add a couple more years to how long before people forgive you, do it right the first time. So, yeah, he's learning.
Again, all of it's balanced because there's shit people do that's horrific, and you're like, fuck you, go away. And then there's other stuff where you hear and you go, all right, guys, relax.
Yeah.
I wonder if Matt Lauer watches that morning show like you're watching.
Of course he does. He's self-involved. He's an ego. He's going to love it.
I think he has. And I think the whole thing, probably as he's watching it, he realizes they're doing the Matt Lauer story. And there's probably a lot of things he's seething about because he said, no, they're not doing this right. I know what they're doing, but they're making this whole thing and make me look like I'm so toxic and whatever. And I just playfully had sexual barbs with girls and things like that. And I mean, they liked it when I hit that button and locked him in my office and they couldn't get away.
Everybody loves to be trapped.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how he takes it because the way they've done on the morning show, he is a victim. He is like, he can't believe it. He's like, why are you doing this to me? You're ruining my life.
And probably some of the pigs probably thought that at some point. I'm talking about people who legit did something wrong. They were probably like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Well, what's going on here? They probably thought they were
all those girls wanted to sleep with me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about the ones that are legit fucking pigs that are terrible human beings.
And I think the two things that he justified was, one, they're about the same age as me. So how can I, come down on somebody sexually if they're about the same age as me?
I'm not a predator.
And it's not like they were necessarily interns. Some of them had good standing jobs. So, so then how can that be toxic masculinity if they're about my age and they have, they're farther up in the ranks? It's not like somebody who's young who I'm abusing the age for. And then in the show, you've got another guy who's on set, on camera, that is sleeping with an intern, and now he's very nervous.
Oh.
She's like, no, you have full, you're not taking advantage of me. He's like, I know, but how's it going to look? And it's a good question.
It looks shady if it's an intern.
And so he doesn't want to see her now. He's like, maybe we need to break up. And she's like, oh, no, it's full. I want to be with you.
Yeah, I mean, see, to me, a lot of that stuff, I mean, if two people work together and both want to sleep with each other and they're both, I don't see a problem with that. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right.
It's the slippery slope of it, because you may have a girl that in bed is telling you that, and then let's say something happens and all of a sudden her story might change.
But then that person's a liar then, and that you can't control. I mean, that's gonna.
True.
A liar can happen in any relationship, but if you in your heart are pursuing somebody and you're doing it in a way where it's not sleazy and creepy, and you're both into it, and then someone goes off the rails and lies, well, I don't think you're a bad person because of that.
Yeah,
I've dated people that I've worked with.
What?
Well, yeah, of course, but that, I mean, the truth is the truth. At least you know in your heart.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying.
I just think that now, if you're in any position and you're sleeping with somebody that might be in your business, in your company, or whatever, you've really got to ask yourself these questions and say, look, when everything's happy and things are great and we're in bed together and it's all fun, they may say something, but let's say the relationship turns south, and we know people get twisted.
Of course.
And they try to make you look bad, and you got to ask yourself, if the worst case scenario happened, what would this mean for my career and my life? And if it's very risky, that if it's a he said, she said, or she said, she said, he said, then you might want to watch yourself and say, maybe this is a relationship I shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going down. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have interns anymore.
You're going down on Suits.
Yeah, he's the one that's going to bring me down.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Got an email from Jonathan just saying, hey, I do appreciate the get the info first mentality that you guys are exhibiting on the show. I think that more people need to do that. Thank you, Jonathan.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
we don't do it right. I mean, I know I've been wrong when I get part of the story and then you give an opinion, but to his point, it is nice when people get it right.
Yeah.
The details.
Hopefully more and more people will do that, because I think that's the way we need to be. When you hear a story, I was even that way on the Simone Biles, because I heard people immediately, and that's it. So many people, they want to react first. And I'm like, well, I don't know enough about this to even comment. But
right. I'm going to let the experts.
That didn't stop the rest of the world.
And a lot of times, too, people get so mad about some of this shit, and you're like, I don't give a fuck. Stay mad, don't stay mad, whatever you got to do.
Don't get perspective.
Yeah.
Like, say, hey, walk me through why you feel this way and why you're doing what you're doing, and then maybe I'll come up with an opinion on it. Other things going on over the weekend, lots of concerts. And my big question, are we still going to see these concerts going off? And the reason why I ask is because it seems like movies and concerts, there's something that's kind of in tandem where you pack a bunch of people together in one place and they're breathing all over each other, and you got the numbers that are happening with the pandemic. And I saw that Paramount now is delaying the theatrical release of Clifford the Big Red Dog due to Delta COVID-19 variant concerns. And they're now asking, okay, well, if you're going to postpone that, you still got Top Gun coming up.
Tom Cruise, Virginia.
I know. It's
again,
coming up.
You got the Scream movie coming up and Mission Impossible 7. They got 2 Tom Cruise movies coming up. Paramount does.
Did you say Scream?
Scream, yeah.
There's a new Scream coming out.
There's a new Scream movie, yeah.
No shit.
Paramount, yeah. So they're trying to figure out, okay, are you going to start postponing things again? What's going to happen? You know, everybody wants to know. They're wanting us to do masks again. They say they're not going to do lockdowns, but does this mean that they're going to shut down theaters and concerts again?
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, who knows? So,
Everything's up in the air.
Yeah.
Now's not a good time to pay up front for any kind of travel or
I guess
anything like that, because you don't know what it's going to be like.
Well, they've got cruises going again, and is that going to stay cranking? You know, we just got back to it, and it's like the week we got back to it, now there's this new variant. So you've got Kings of Leon tomorrow night with Cold War Kids. You've got Dave Chappelle this week. You got a Monster Jam going on at the BB&T Center. And then last night, concert at Hard Rock Stadium I would have loved to have gone to. It was Green Day, Fall Out Boy, Weezer also was on stage. People were sending us photos.
That's cool.
They do a really good show. They're a little older. They still fucking rock it, baby.
Mm-hmm. In fact, Haley said, I went to the Green Day concert last night. It did not disappoint. All bands were fantastic, but Weezer was my favorite. They even sent a little bit of a video from the show last night.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the thing about Weezer, man. You go to a Weezer show, they are playing pretty much all of the hits.
Yeah, they do.
They get it.
And in fact, some of the diehard Weezer fans get annoyed because they don't play some of the B-sides, the deeper cuts. Because they really do. It's a greatest hit show a lot of times.
Right. You know what I kind of like what sometimes bands will do, which I think is awesome? They'll do the arena shows, which that was. You're playing at a big old stadium, and they play the hits. And then sometimes they'll be like, you know what, we're going to do a B-hit tour, and they'll play a theater.
That's what, Billy Joel has done that before.
And that's a really cool concept because you realize, okay, it's not going to be the mass appeal, but I am going to do a small theater show and realize I'm not here to do the Piano Mans and the...
Well, Rivers Cuomo does that on his own. He will do these little Weezer boat things or cruises, and he will play a lot of shit that... only diehards are going to know.
Yeah.
Billy Joel says, fuck y'all, I'm going to go ahead and do that in the stadium. Oh, here's my B-sides. Take it, bitch.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit.
He's a little more sassy.
Yeah.
A little more edge.
Yeah, you don't care.
Also had some thoughts on whether or not to take a gap year or jump right into college. Here's a little bit more feedback we got from the 97.9 WRMF app. What should you do? Kristen said she needs to go to college right away. My daughter procrastinated, took a break, and she never ended up going back to school. But school isn't for everyone either. If she takes a break, it might be harder later on. So it might. And for some people too, if you don't know if college is good for you, maybe taking a little bit of a break, then, you get a little bit of a chance. And if you're like, okay, I need to go, then I need to go. But so many other people wind up going and spending a lot of money on college, realizing that it isn't for them, or they do a major completely different. And in a sense, they lost $40,000 to $80,000, maybe more, on something that really is not going to benefit them in life. And they could have jumped right into it.
It's tricky, though, to navigate all that. And I think you have to really follow your heart and try it all. Give everything a little chance. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't know if school is going to be great for you, maybe just do one semester.
You also got Kirsty saying gap years are important. A good compromise is to do a semester at sea or a year abroad with COVID. Just buckle down and do school and promise to travel a little bit later. And that might be good, is saying, okay, maybe I jump right into school, but maybe I'm going to take my summers and I'll try to do a trip and see how it is. And you may get to the point where you say, you know what, I like travel more than this, and I feel like school's not right for me. But that is a good thing, too. You know, we were talking earlier about NYU, and that was the one thing that we went and looked at that for my one son, Colin. NYU does a lot of stuff, and a lot of schools will, where they offer a lot of travel abroad, where you could actually, they do a campus. I think they had one like in Hong Kong or something like that. Where
That's
you can
cool.
Go and, live somewhere else and actually do school, so you get a little bit of both on doing that. Gina said, I took a gap year as an exchange student to Brazil, and it changed my life. Taught me another language, gave me freedom, and let me explore another country. I would definitely recommend it. When I came back and entered college, I didn't waste time experimenting with drinking. I had already done all that on my exchange. And that is something, too. Yeah, one of my friends from high school went as an exchange student for her first year to a different country, then came back and then went to college. So that's another way to possibly look at it. As well. And it's a little bit more of a controlled environment, too, because they're talking about costs. When you go as an exchange student, you stay for free at families' homes.
That's great.
Yeah. So imagine taking that cost out. And they feed you and all that kind of stuff.
That's beautiful.
Right. So you're saving that kind of money. So exchange abroad or exchange student is not a bad idea as well. Scam alerts. This one from Brian said, I'm a South Florida local, and over the weekend I received a pretty frightening text message from the Tijuana Mexican cartel. Shit. In the message, they stated that I had wasted their time and asked me to resolve this problem quickly or else my family would pay the consequences. The most terrifying part of all this is that they opened the text message with my full name and address. Luckily, I had recently moved, and it was my old address that they sent. This made me skeptical of their credibility, and after their chilling message, they then sent gruesome photos of mutilated bodies to really instill fear in me. After the 20-minute anxiety attack, I did a little Google search of my own and quickly found dozens of recent articles warning people of this same scam.
What a fucking horrifying scam.
I quickly blocked the number and deleted the message. In such a connected world, it is scary to think how accessible our personal info is. KVJ Nation, please be on high alert and don't fall victim to this scam. The authorities are well aware of this scam and ensures the victims that they are in no real danger.
You should just say, yeah, come on over if you think you're man enough, because they don't have to have your address. It's your old address.
I don't think too often cartel does much on foreign
Texting.
soil. I don't think they don't just come to America, grab somebody, and next thing you know, you wake up in Tijuana. That's very difficult for them to do.
I'd be okay if it was Tijuana Flats.
Right.
Oh, they can take me hostage any day.
There's another scam going on, too. My bank put out a statement, and there's a fake FP&L thing going around. They'll call you up saying they're FP&L. You're about to get your power turned off. Venmo the money, blah, blah, blah. If FP&L's calling you and it seems a little suspect, it's because it probably is. So be careful with that.
Okay.
FP&L.
There's a million scams always going on. You have to really be on high alert.
Well, it must have been bad enough because they had a whole fucking release on my bank website.
They probably got hacked.
Probably.
Everybody's getting hacked.
Well,
Yeah.
think about taking my money out and putting it in a hole somewhere.
Which hole? Will you point out the hole to me?
Either the butthole or the dick hole.
Depends on how much you have.
You're going to have a hard time shoving money in your dick hole.
Well, especially when it's all nickels.
Ooh, it's tough.
Nickel dick.
Somebody that saw your Lana video. I love that video, by the way. On TikTok, you have Jaybird just regular, kind of like dancing around. Then, boom, all of a sudden, there's Lana.
She's a very controversial piece. I'll tell you what, man. People, not everyone loves Lana, Virginia.
Let Lana be Lana. Let her live.
One woman was so disgusted by it. She's like, Jason needs to cut his hair, and he's obnoxious. I'm so fucking turned off. I'm like, all right. Okay. Just trying to have some fun.
He's just trying to have fun.
Have fun on a Friday.
Lady, chill out. You need to smoke a blunt.
Yeah, blunt. You're right.
This is a person who loves him, says, I just love Jason's alter egos. It would be awesome if Bird did a video with a Lana and Hoagie breaking up and smack talking each other with Gibby Darlington, having reactions as to what they said.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
saw
it.
that. Yeah, I was thinking about doing an interview with Lana, Gibby Darlington, Hulk Hogan, and maybe even Super Pie. all in one little full swoop.
I love it.
Yeah. You want to be a part of that?
It sounds very detailed.
Yeah.
Because all of those alter egos have different hair and hair dye.
You're right.
And outfits and
right.
attitude. And how's Gibby doing? I haven't seen him in
After
forever.
he shot his nut, he rode off into the sunset, never to be heard from again.
Damn.
He'll be back.
Tell him I'm sorry about his nutsack.
I will.
And a shout out here. So after hearing all the sporting teams, Martin County North Little League Major Division baseball team is going to be traveling to Warner Robins, Georgia for the Little League World Series Regional Tournament on ESPN and ESPN2 on August 6th.
This is a big deal.
Good
It
for
is.
them.
That is very cool. I love tuning into that. They're going to be representing Florida. On a total coincidence, I was selected for the same tournament as an umpire. Hopefully my evaluation will make me eligible for Williamsport for the Little League World Series.
Big deal.
Yeah.
It's weird. I used to umpire as, I think probably I was 12 or 13, maybe 14, and it was a lot of pressure, Virginia,
I
because
know.
you were running the games with adults, and they would fucking jump in your shit
Yeah.
if you missed a call. But it was a lot of fun to umpire. You're in charge.
Yeah.
You can throw motherfuckers out of a game if they get lippy. It's
Yeah.
it's a great time.
So we got a lot of South Florida athletes doing a lot of cool stuff all over the place, including the Olympics. So there you go. Thank you for all the emails. Appreciate you guys being here. Enjoy what's left of your Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems, ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.